Jeffrey Wright is here on the Rich Eisen Show, nominated for Best Actor in the upcoming Oscars for your role in American Fiction. It's an awesome movie, and it's thought-provoking. I said to you off the air, it's thought-provoking, it's moving, it's funny. It's a little disturbing, to say the least, at parts as well. But as I'm watching it, and I'm wondering if you would agree or not, I remember a movie that Robert Townsend wrote and essentially directed and produced called Hollywood Shuffle. Mm-hmm. And there's some very similar themes in this film about pop culture reducing folks down to some tropes and stereotypes. And that's what your character is fighting in this film.
Sure. You know, he's a guy, he wants to write what he wants to write about. And he has his own, personal interests. But from the outside, bluntly, they're not perceived to be black enough. And so he's frustrated. But I don't think that phenomenon is limited to the black experience. I think we all want to be seen for who we are. So there's a kind of universality to it, even though it's told specifically from my perspective. We all just want to be seen for who we are. We can all relate to that. The thing that we do with this film, too, that I think allows people across backgrounds to find a place inside it is, as you say, like with Hollywood Shuffle, which was an inspiration for Cord Jefferson.
It was.
Who wrote this script and directed it. He adopted our script from a novel by Percival Everett called Erasure. But he cites Hollywood Shuffle as an inspiration. And what we do, like in that film and also like Mel Brooks did, is we talk about these thorny issues, these relevant issues, but we have a laugh, man. We're not afraid of it. What's to be afraid of? Let's come together and let's laugh at it. Let's laugh at ourselves. And maybe after that experience, at least within the 2 hours of the film, we come out, who knows, maybe with a little more clarity, maybe with some better questions, but maybe we make a little bit of progress around these issues, at least for those 2 hours.
Right.
That's pretty cool, particularly now.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled to hear that he does feel that Cord Jefferson, who's also nominated for his screenplay here, does sort of, that I was onto something, because Hollywood Shuffle is definitely more slapstick at times, right?
A little more farcical.
Farcical, right, than this film. But it's just some similar notes, some similar beats to that sort of thing as well. And your character in this film, Jeffrey Wright here on the Rich Eisen Show, essentially does succumb to the, I guess, the gravitational pull of what the market is asking for, and dives in to write something that is completely anathema to what your character wants to portray in his writing.
Well, yes. And also no.
Okay.
He is driven by a couple of things. And interesting, too, when he does write this version of a novel that he thinks is street, and he does it, dismissively to mock it and also to mock the hypocrisy of the publishing world. But when he does go about writing it, the scene that we see him write is a scene about a father whose son is frustrated with him, whose son is disappointed in him and angry. And that actually, from a psychological level, relates to my character too. So even as he's dismissive, there's still something underneath that says, wait a minute, there's something important here maybe that he's expressing, maybe subconsciously, but there's an emotional depth to it that's surprising. And so I think throughout the film, what we explore is, okay, yeah, maybe that's a type of black art that he doesn't necessarily think is worthy, but at the same time, maybe he's not entirely right too. He's flawed. Right? He's not the most reliable narrator. And so he undergoes a process of self-discovery through the course of the film. And I think what we're saying is, listen, it's not about we don't want to see those stories. We don't need those. That's not the case. What we want to see is a broader range of stories that reflect the complexity of the black experience, the complexity of the American experience. And so you're right, but at the same time, there's some other levels and layers inside it that, I think, too, audiences are responding to. I think people who see this film go, wow, I didn't think I was going to be feeling that. I didn't think I was going to, have the emotional kind of experience that I had, and that's cool. Yeah.
And when did you pick up on it? Just when you first read the script? I mean,
yeah.
Did you pick that up? Was you reading through the script for the first time about how nuanced and layered you can make this character?
Yeah, absolutely. The first scene kind of dropped the hook in my direction. It's a scene in a classroom talking about, a forbidden word. That's a race word that's on the whiteboard behind me. I'm a teacher, a professor of Southern literature, teaching a book by a Southern writer named, or rather an essay by a Southern writer named Flannery O'Connor, and there's a student in there who objects to that word. Can't have that word on the, oh my God. And so that's a conversation that's being had in classrooms across the country and outside of classrooms right now. So I was like, oh man, let's dive into that. Let's get into that stuff. Why are we so afraid to talk about this stuff? Why? And it was funny too, of course. Always got to go back to that because that allows people to breathe a little bit. So that was the first thing that captured my attention. But then as I read further, what really set the hook in my mouth was the story of this man and his relationship to love of himself, love of the other, love of his family, and love of his mother. He's caretaker to his mother in the midst of a family that's just like everybody else's family, crazy as hell, and loving in spite of itself and inescapable. And that's the thing. As I was playing it, I said, man, I've never been asked to play these dynamics before. And that's kind of the life that I was living when the script came to me. My mom had passed away about a year before, still dealing with that. I had the good fortune of being raised by two women, my mother and her eldest sister, my Aunt Naomi, who's 94 years old now, who came to live with us. I have kids at the same time. The pandemic set in, like all of us. We were going, what's going on here, man? But it was that caretaking side of the story that really hooked me. I really got that. My son saw the movie and he said, I see a lot of myself in that character, but man, also, that's a beautiful homage to Grandma. And that's what's been really moving to people, too. People, again, across backgrounds have said, wow, my dad has Alzheimer's. We just put him in a home yesterday. I really felt validated when I saw that. I felt moved by that. I'm across backgrounds. So what we've tried to do is create a space, for all of us, for all of us to, in some ways, find something that they can relate to and find themselves inside of it. And again, do it and have a little bit of fun at it.
Well, you mission accomplished.
Oh, cool.
Honestly, watching the movie, like I said, a couple times, there's a heart in the throat, and then other times I'm laughing out loud. I don't want to give too much away, but your character sort of having enough of the hypocrisy from the publishing community that you want to change the name of the title of the book, and you accomplish that goal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was laughing out loud at that scene, Jeff.
That's good.
TJ saw you're laughing at that. I mean, yeah.
That's the desired effect. That's cool.
That's great. Jeffrey Wright.
You got to have a laugh at this stuff. Look, I go back to watch Blazing Saddles. I go back to watch The Sheriff is a near scene.
That's right.
Just when I'm feeling down, man.
I saw you tweeted that out recently when I guess it was an anniversary of Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Right, and you said The Sheriff is near.
Yeah, that's right, man.
That's right.
Come on, man.
For
Come
sure.
on. It ain't that deep.
I guess speaking of just saying stuff with humor, Jeffrey Wright here on the Rich Eisen Show. Sometimes when professional success happens, you have to sometimes give something up to have professional success happens. It's so rare to have it all. So if I had told you last year, not only would you be nominated as Best Actor, but Dan Snyder would no longer own the Washington football team or Commanders, you'd be like, well, I believe the Oscar.
Yeah. That's right. That's funny.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you thinking right now?
It's a new day, baby. It's a new day. Actually, Josh Harris, who is our new owner, is a buddy of mine from summer camp.
Come on.
Camp Minnehaha represent, baby. Camp Minnehaha, White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Yeah, I first met him when I was maybe 8 years old. His brother Gabe was in my cabin.
Okay.
As soon as the news came out that the previous owner was considering a sale,
yes.
I reached out to them. Gabe and I had remained friends through college, but I hadn't talked to him in a while. Josh and I hadn't talked to in years. But I was like, hey, Gabe, are you guys looking at this? And sure enough, Josh is at the helm now. And so I bought season tickets again.
You did?
I had let my mom's lapse. My mom had season tickets from 1970. I grew up at RFK Stadium, as I've mentioned on this show before. But I let them lapse after she passed because I was like, man, I just can't do it. And I bought tickets again. So I went to every game until this rollout of our film started.
Yeah.
I'm probably the guest on your show right now who has seen fewer games in any sport lately. But yeah, I went to the first preseason game and I saw Josh and I had all these ideas about what we might do.
Do you think they should change the name? What
I
do you
do.
think? You do?
Yeah, I do. I think what's happening is that everything related to the previous era is being undone. And to that point, I was talking to Josh about, fan experience stuff, particularly how we can win. He's like, slow down, bro. He's like, look, I'm trying to fix the plumbing in the stadium. We got pipes that need, so
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Within the organization, the infrastructure needed to be scanned and needed to be addressed, assessed, and worked through. And that's what he's doing. And he knows what this franchise was. He knows what fans want it to be, which is akin to what it was in terms of the pride that we took in that team and what it meant to community and in the way they played on the field. Bottom line, man. Bottom line is how you play that game. So Josh was an athlete too. Josh was a wrestler. He was a good wrestler. Mm-hmm. I think he wrestled at Penn. So he's got that competitive spirit. He's got at least a window on what it means. And so anyway, he's going about it in the right way. And the new coaching staff looks exciting. Mm-hmm. I love the sense of respect that Dan Quinn has from players that have played for him and coaches. Mm-hmm. Anthony Lynn came on board.
That's true. Yeah.
Came from San Francisco. He said, hey, man, I want to be with this dude. I know that this guy is a leader. That's what it takes. I went back 1969, saw Vince Lombardi's press conference when he came on board.
Right.
Vince Lombardi said, I want to win first season if possible. That's the attitude. Come in, get it done, win.
Well, it's not like the cupboard's bare completely, right? I mean,
that's right.
There's some good quality players. They've got the second overall pick.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible, that management decides to move up one spot. Caleb Williams is truly appears to be generationally talented. He's from the area.
Gonzaga High School. Gonzaga College High School. Yes, he is.
Which would be another way to excite the fan base is if I think you're giving voice to the general sense of this is awesome. Ding dong, the witch is dead. We're in. We're back.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Yeah, that would be a great story. I mean, it's a bit on the optics side, though. It could be. What's important is how he plays the game. Who knows if they have an opportunity? It looks like the Bears are looking at. Who knows?
Right.
There's some good. Who knows what they do?
Right.
Do they go after a quarterback? Do they use those picks to that pick to broaden their picks? It's not, I'm not in the war room. But I will say this about Caleb Williams, that I think you're right. He had a rough season this last season, mm-hmm. but that guy has some incredible athletic instincts. And what I see in him that's really exciting is the way he sees the field, his vision, the way his head swivels. Like Mahomes. Mahomes has that too.
No doubt.
It's rare. It's rare. You just watch those guys, their ability to scan danger and find opportunity. That's the thing.
And then complete it with a flick of the wrist.
He got an arm that works pretty well too.
He does have and
he's stout. He's durable.
I think he's bigger than Mahomes.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's bigger than Mahomes. And it just throw the word Mahomes around, which I've done. I mean, just like you did. It's obviously a large level of expectation, but I just love hearing the excitement in your voice. And then on top of it, I mean, if you could choose somebody from the world of sports and business to come in outside of your camp friend Josh Harris, Magic Johnson,
baby.
Right?
Hey,
do you know what's going on in your life right now? It's kind of crazy.
It's good. It's all good. Yeah, and the last game I went to was at SoFi out here when they played the Rams, and happened to see Magic there. And of course, we all know who Magic Johnson is. And I'll tell you what, Magic Johnson is not one who's friendly with losing in anything that he does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Avengers have assembled. And
Nice.
and it's, there's so much work to be done on every level. But they recognize that, and they are willing to do that and wanting to do that. So bright things on the horizon. We'll see what happens with the new venue. I'm hoping that the team comes back to the spiritual home, and that is at the site where RFK Stadium was.
Right.
People, you need to have an appreciation for what that place represents. Yes, there were some incredible games played there. I have so many wonderful memories there. We all do who were at that stadium. It was a beautiful, beautiful stadium, intimate stadium. But it was also a memorial. It's Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium. It sits at the other end of Washington, D.C., on the Anacostia River. At the far side of the city, directly down across the mall, is the Lincoln Memorial. It's not just a football stadium. There is something so symbolic and powerful in that piece of land that is beyond any other place for a sports venue in this country. And I think if we celebrate that aspect of it as well, to recognize its importance not only to the city but as a national piece, then it's hard not to come back there. Obviously, there are the fiscal issues, there's the political issues, and all that stuff. But we want to bring the team home.
It seems like the management and ownership gets it.
Yeah.
Like they understand what has happened. They understand who folks like you represent and what would push your buttons, right? And I think the business community has just been dying to talk to somebody else, than the previous guy, as you've referred to.
Yeah.
And I think that all alone together will get things done in the way that I think you'll wind up being happy. No doubt about it. I just remember I went to one game at RFK. I sat in an end zone seat, 2 rows from the front of the upper deck. I had to get up and see when the ball was thrown in the back of the end zone. I had to get up and lean over to see what was going on underneath.
Yeah.
And then at one point, I turned to my friend who took me to the game. I'm like, "Oh, is this seat shaking?"
Yeah.
And he just said, "Yeah, look around. You would see it would shake." And then, of course, the band playing music too.
Man. And no seatbelts. Yeah. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. I remember Mark Mosley used to
straight on kicker.
And he would kick the ball so high it would go over the net behind the goalpost most often. And I would run down. My mom's seats were in the corner just above the band, right? Uh-huh. We had some cover. It was cool, But anyway, I would run down. You could run down, scamper down, and you could watch the game from behind the goalpost. And when Mosley would kick the ball over the net, I would run back behind the bleachers. You could sneak back there and you could get the ball, man. I got a ball or two that way.
Did you?
Yeah, man. It was a different time. But yeah, man, it was so special. It was so special. I'm glad you had an opportunity to experience and people who were there know there was just an intimacy there. There was just and players who came there, they feared to come there if you were playing against the Redskins. Formerly known as
correct.
Then you were up against something.
Oh, I was there when the Cowboys were in.
Yeah,
and Danny White was being burned in effigy in the parking lot.
Well, that was probably better than what happened to him on the field in that championship game in 1983 when he was planted by Dexter Manley.
Dexter Manley.
Yeah, I was at that game. I got ticket stub from that game. Actually, I think it reads NFC Championship game, whatever the date was, 1983.
Yeah,
$20.
20.
Wow. Yeah, different day.
Listen, Sterling K. Brown is a revelation as well. I mean, we already know how great he is from his previous work, but you and he in the scenes together are just crackling great. I just want to tell you that.
Yeah, he's such a forceful actor. He's super smart, and he deserves that nomination. It's really cool. What we all did on this film, of course, first we read the script. And we all wanted to tell this story. Mm-hmm. We wanted to be there. Sterling, in fact, wasn't planning on working during that time, but he read the script and said, "No, man, I gotta be a part of this." So we showed up. Tracy Ellis Ross, the legendary Leslie Uggams, Issa Rae, everyone came on board because they were super passionate about telling this story now. And doing it together. We all looked around and said, wow, okay, we're all here. And we just threw, it's cliched, but yeah, we put a lot of love into this thing. And it's really gratifying that audiences are responding and the Academy is responding in this way. But yeah, Sterling's terrific. He played football. He played football in high school.
I certainly couldn't tell. It didn't look like he hit craft services too much during the filming of this.
Yeah. That's I was describing a scene. Yeah, that's a scene between myself, Erica Alexander, and Sterling K. Brown's abs.
The abs stole the scene. No offense to you.
Easy.
Oh my gosh. Again, American Fiction. See it in the theater. It's in theaters everywhere. And also you could see it right here through the Roku portal on Amazon as well. When you walk down the street, which character do people stop and say to you the most from your career?
It depends on what street I'm walking down.
Okay.
Certain streets, it's Peoples Hernandez from Shaft. I get people stabbing themselves in the chest. You kill my brother. You kill my brother. I get that. If I'm maybe a London street, it's Felix Leiter. A lot of Westworld fans everywhere.
I bet.
Yeah, I got a little something for everybody, Rich.
Right?
A little something for everybody.
Anybody stop you with Angels in America?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Great.
Yeah, of course.
It's 20 years ago now, isn't it?
Oh, the film, yeah. And the play, which I did on Broadway, was 1993.
Jeez.
I can't even count that high. I'm not even that old.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Felix Leiter, I see every now and then when Casino Royale pops up. It's a mic drop. I mean, a remote drop. Pardon me for me.
Oh, cool.
Like seriously, like doesn't matter. Like I have to clear a schedule.
Yeah.
that is true. That's one of my favorite Bond movies ever.
Yeah, people love that one. People really love that one. And it was good for us that we came right out of the gate with, Daniel's, first, first take on this, and did one that people responded to. Again, it was going back to a vintage story, a vintage Bond story, but we wanted to, to update it and infuse it with a kind of contemporary energy and an edge to it, and just well crafted. And it was a good way to kick it off.
Did you learn how to play poker for that, or you already knew it?
Man, I'm not, poker's not my thing. We played a lot of poker. Yeah, we shot that in Prague. I think I lost a lot of Corona, a lot of Czech money playing that thing. I don't, I'm too like I take too many gambles. Poker's not a gambling game. But not necessarily my game. But just fitting. That was fitting. It was a character study. Character study
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I do love that film.
I'm too emotional for poker. Yeah.
You're too emotional for poker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it seems you're an actor though. You don't have a poker face.
I got a poker face, but acting is emotion is my that's my currency. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
That is a neat way to describe. I mean, that is the ultimate part of the craft, is it not?
It helps. Yeah.
For sure.
You gotta put something out there. You gotta infuse it with something.
Fantastic. And again, like I said, this movie is beautiful for sure. When was the last Brooklyn Nets game you were able to make it to?
Man, it was
been a while.
It was during the latter part of last year. I got season tickets. And
then everybody left.
I got my season tickets before.
Oh, you did?
The big trade.
Okay.
Yeah, because I loved that they were creating this core group of young guys that were playing together and winning and playing and creating this this culture that was about team. And so that's when I bought my tickets. And then of course they made the big trade. We all know what happened to that. And a year after the trade, of course, the season ticket prices doubled. Even after that whole scenario dissipated, the season ticket prices have not gone back to what they were prior.
Oh wow!
But no, I was on board prior to that because I live about I don't know, 10-minute walk from
Barclays?
From Barclays in Brooklyn. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to be there lately because I've been out here a lot and been, promoting our film American Fiction.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
I say nothing but the best of luck to you. You honestly, you deserve it. This performance in this film is awesome.
Thank you, Rich.
And you are great in it. And like I said, it made an impact on me.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for having me back here,
absolutely.
man. I love being here.
No, and I appreciate that as well. I think the last time you were here was for Westworld. I think it might have been. For
I think it probably
like
was.
Yeah. It's a while ago.
Yeah.
So let's do this more often than once every 5 years.
Let's do it,
like
man.
That. I appreciate that. Everybody should go check out, as I mentioned, American Fiction. The cast is amazing. The script is also Academy Award nominated. It is thought-provoking, and it is something that is worthy of your time. It is available in theaters near you, and also right here on the Roku portal, Amazon. The Amazon app, as well as the Apple TV app, is the way that you can go check this out. It is worth every second of your time, and I can't wait to watch you and your tux go on up there, man. I would love it.
Well, thank you, Rich.
And if not, Snyder's gone.
Yeah, hey, every day is a celebration.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.